Hello, all you hardcores out there, how you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner. We're on to part two now. We're just waiting for Adam to join us. Women love him, men want to be him. I think he's got a chick anyway. So he'll be on in a second. Here we go. Here's Adam.
Rock and roll. Hello.
Your thumbnail, is that American Psycho?
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
I saw that. It were quite a controversial film, wasn't it, that when it came out, wasn't it?
it was. It
Do
was.
you remember the prostitute? He had it back.
I remember it well.
Wash under your armpits and your.
Oh, I want you to clean your V. Ah, mate, that's he was some lunatic. Oh my goodness.
Tickled me, and then he ended up playing Mickey Ward's trainer, didn't he? In the
The
Park.
fighter.
Remember? He's a very
Mm.
versatile actor, very good, I think.
Oh, he's on. I think he's one. I know he's. I wouldn't call him underrated anymore, but
Phew,
yeah,
shattered.
yeah. No, he's absolutely amazing. Who was it? I'm not going to say it, but there was somebody else. A lot of the roles he's actually gotten, and he jokes about it himself, Christian Bale, are roles that Leo turned down, DiCaprio. There was somebody else that had signed on, not signed on, but there was someone else they wanted as first choice for American Psycho, but they refused because they thought the movie would be too controversial.
Yeah.
But yeah, put Bale on the map in America. Brilliant actor, unbelievable, very good.
Okay. Now, Crusher Ben, they're going to look at this situation now as free PR. They're going to want to tag Crusher's name to Garcia's, aren't they, for
Yes.
comparisons? And they're going to
Hmm.
milk it to death. Now, Crusher's not a world champion, neither is Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia's now the money, isn't he? In boxing, he's
Hmm.
fighting the new Canelo, isn't he? But we aren't the titles. And Crusher, he could be put in. Well, we're not hearing no Crusher's fighting next because whether they put him in with next, it's got to be a money fight. They're going to need some big PR because if he went in with somebody and it weren't a money fight, he could get turned over, couldn't he? You think?
Yeah.
So what do you think will happen, Adam?
Yeah. It's kind of, to me, there's two layers to it. Obviously, we've talked plenty about when our matchroom going to cash him out. And I think that's still a very, very real question because if he does lose that kind of like Campbell Hatton to, somebody that the public think that he shouldn't lose it to, then Crusher's lost it all.
Mm.
But I was thinking about something yesterday. It was when I was listening to you and Kent, I was out walking the pooch. Another element to it,
Oh,
maybe, the wee poochie, or the big poochie rather, the Doberman.
oh.
Um, what about what about Crusher wanting to cash himself out? Like,
I do.
do you know what I mean, man? Just because obviously, he's pulled the mental health card. We've talked about it through and through and through.
Oh, they all pull that one when it doesn't suit them.
Yeah, but maybe Crusher's kind of had enough of it as well, and maybe he hasn't said it up front to Eddie Hearn yet. But maybe just with everything, and I'm not making excuses. I don't feel sorry for Conor Benn because I think he is guilty, absolutely. But maybe in his mind, he's just been through too much, and he's just fed up of the constant bad PR, the constant explaining himself, the constant "Where's the power gone? Why aren't you fighting better guys?" So maybe there's a part of Crusher Band that just wants the nightmare to be over soon as well, and maybe he just wants to cash out and then maybe go behind the mic for the zone. Um, so it's hard to know, man, but I think Ben will be out of the sport. So I think Ben will be out of fighting sooner rather than later because even though he is back, he's not really back. He's been fighting kind of hand-picked opponents. It hasn't been working out the way people thought it would. Like I think a lot of people thought he would stop Dobson. I mean, even Eddie Hearn was on record the day before the fight saying you got to stop this guy within 3 rounds if you want to be fighting for a world title eliminator. And he made wild hard work of it. So I think that I think Humpty Dumpty's broken, and I don't think there's any real way of putting them back together again. So yeah, I think the cash out is coming. Um, I think now with a scandal about Garcia, when I saw him kind of calling out Ben the day after the fight, I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was a step back. I thought, well, you know, why? Maybe if you're trying to grow yourself in the UK, even though Conor Ben still can't fight in the UK, but now with this kind of drug stuff that's come out, uh, you know, is it a battle of the cheaters, maybe? You know what I'm saying? The way they can kind of sell it. I don't know. I know for a fact it would generate a heap of money. It would definitely generate ticket sales and even pay-per-view sales.
Well, that's what
Uh,
they'll go for now, Adam. They'll look at this situation now, right?
mhm.
Right. Crusher's been fighting at 154, yeah. He's really a 140, isn't he? So he's fighting at a stone heavier than what he should be, for his frame.
Yeah.
They'll say Ryan Garcia and Crusher, 147. Can Crusher even do 147 now after 2 years at an higher weight? I'd be surprised. But for the right money, they wouldn't, because that lot down there at Essex, they're about money. They're not about
Mm,
money, mate, to them. Crusher, if you put him in with anybody at British level, they'll get torn apart at 147, 154. Why don't you fight Josh Kelly?
yeah.
You get beat.
Yeah.
You get
I
beat.
agree.
He'll get beat against Garcia, but he'll get paid. And the secret is getting paid, because it's called prize fighting. You fight for a prize. But don't tell us it's about legacy, like Tommy Fury, then go fighting some numpty for millions like Jake Paul. It's about money, but they'll tell you one thing and they'll say one thing and then do another. That's what really winds me up about boxing. It just gets my thing. I get wound up over it, mate. You can't sit there in front of Wales media and say, yeah, it's about legacy. I want to win a world title at 147. Then be doping, right? And then be fighting at 154 against stiffs and not even going for a belt. And then calling out the big hitters. He's called them all out, hasn't he? Crawford, Bootsy, this, Spence, the lot. And who's he just fought? Who did he fight
Mm.
last? Some lorry driver or something, wasn't it?
I can pull it up. I can't honestly even remember, and I should, but that kind of tells you more detail about who he's been fighting. And the point you made there about who he's been calling out, that's what kind of set the light bulb off in my head yesterday. Because I was like, why Conor Ben's not an idiot behind it all. Like if you put a gun to his head and you asked him, do you think you're better than Ennis or Crawford and all these boys? He'd be lying if he said yes. So I'm kind of wondering, like, why is he calling these guys out? Like, and that's what I'm saying. Does he want to cash himself out? Does he just want to get it over with? Fight one of the proper good guys, make a big payday, and then just say, oh, you know, I tested myself, I wasn't up to the level, and so on and so forth. I don't really know. But you and I previously talked about the Garcia and Ben fight, and we were saying potentially that's a fight you could get behind. Now, I think we were talking about this because we thought that Haney would beat Garcia. Um, but yeah, man, I really don't know. It's a wild, weird spot for both of them. But I don't think either lad's going to be. I don't think either Ben or Garcia are going to be around the sport for a massive amount of time more. Probably Garcia. If I had to say who will be along or around longer, I would say Garcia. He's a way bigger following. He could sell pay-per-views in the US. You know, he's an entertainer again, whether you love or you hate him. He definitely moves the needle. People tune in on Twitter, on every platform, just because he's a madman. Um, but given their current circumstances, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight if I'm honest. Put it this way: if I would, if alleged drug cheats are going to fight in the sport, I would rather see them fight each other. You know what I mean?
Would you?
What's that? Yeah, because I mean that's if they're going to fight at all. Like I don't think there should be a place for drug cheats in the sport. Full stop. But if they're gonna do it, then they might as well chin the other drug cheats, keep it a bit safer for the rest of the guys. But then if people are proven, do they get tested more? I mean, it all depends too, because these labs now and these consultant pharmacists, they're all way ahead of the game. You know, they're producing things that aren't being tested for, that are very close to drugs that are on the banned list. So even if somebody does pop, if they have enough money, are they still getting away with it in their next fight? What are the question marks, man? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But the two boys are in a bad spot. Definitely a bad spot.
Well, what about Mystic Johnny? Oscott Nelson, what's he have to say about it? He's popping up with some weird interviews of late, and he's having dreams and visualizing all sorts of mad stuff. Johnny, what has you been smoking? And can you get me an ounce? It's like I'm about to relapse. No, I'm only joking, Mum. I'm not.
Good. I'm with you, man. I don't know what he's smoking, if he's smoking anything. Kind of similar. I know Kent obviously had way more serious stuff going on, but I kind of took maybe a month or 6 weeks away from the sport, man. Not that I was completely unfollowing it, but I deleted the YouTube app on my phone. I was just watching Porky videos on the browser.
Come on, lad.
There you go. Go on, Porky's Corner. But yeah, man, the rest of it's just noise. Like you said, you can kind of go so deep down rabbit holes, and at least I was doing it continuously. I know you do the same, where it just kind of fries your brain, man. So all the AFL.
I'm thinking about doing our robberies, mate.
I looked away, I'm only seeing the mask now, and nearly jumped off the couch. Holy moly. Oh, I was like,
I like to go to ex-mother-in-laws and knock on door and go, Happy Christmas. You know.
You're like the fella from the Saw movies. Do you remember he used to run around in the pig mask, tighten up?
We all love our mother-in-laws, though. We don't. Where I'm from, like, we don't call them mother-in-laws. We call them outlaws because that's what they are, mate. Utter outlaws. There was an issue, isn't there, with them?
I like that. I like that. That's very funny.
Oh, it is, isn't it, mate? They're not. You know, in South Yorkshire, mate, if you've got a mother-in-law, they are a fucking outlaw. And that goes for the man's mother-in-law and the woman's. There's just a lot of them. Mother-in-laws, right? They just hate everybody, don't they? Have you noticed? They never like their brat's partner, do they? Or no, do they? You know, I was talking to my mate out here. He's just had a bit of a ding dong with his outlaw. So he's not another one. He's like, oh yeah, she's dictating about what kitchen we're having now. I thought you were putting your foot down.
Oh, that's gas, man. No,
House at house.
Usually, it's very, I was just going to say it's very, very infrequent where they are sound. Very infrequent. So outlaw is probably a more accurate term. I like it. I'll rob that one.
You're gonna rob that one, are you? Comcast is saying that. Oh God, outlaws just pulled up.
I'll let it loose on America and see how it takes.
You only see him on birthdays, Easter, and Boxing Day, don't you? Because you don't want to see him Christmas Day, do you?
No, definitely not. In fairness, now I'll give a shout out. My missus's mother, very, very, very sound, very sound.
Don't be losing your ass now. We've been talking about outlaws, Adam.
No, I know, but I'm saying there's exceptions to the rules.
Oh, yours is all right, yeah. Well, you're in America though, aren't you? You're going out with your yank, aren't you?
That's So no, it is a bit different over the water. I didn't have as pleasant experiences back in Ireland. Definitely not.
No.
No, but like this is what I'm saying. Like the rule is generally true, but you will find the odd diamond. And she's a sound woman, so fair play to her now. Fair play.
Good. Speaking of drug cheats, what's happening with Dylan White? How many times has he popped? 4, is it? 4.
Yeah. If you include K1, no, the can man is still at large, and it seems like nothing can pull him down. I don't know. I mean, like I said, the wheels keep turning. Obviously, you know where yourself and myself and the rest of the boys that are on the channel where we all stand on the drugs. But these characters just find their way back into the sport. Obviously, some are more successful than others, but Dillian White seems to be here to stay. At least for the time being. He's like a bad smell. He's very hard to get rid of. So we'll see. But if we're on the topic of drug cheats mostly, I previously said on here that I thought Tommy Fury was the luckiest man in boxing history. And I'll go back on that. I'll say Tommy Fury is the second luckiest man. The luckiest man is big fat baby Jarrell Miller. Because we all know what happened with the AJ Madison Square Garden fight. You know, to me, Jarrell Miller and Eddie Hearn are more to blame for AJ's career going off a cliff, or at least his confidence in Andy Ruiz. Now, I know Andy Ruiz was the man that threw the punches, but Jarrell Miller was the man that cheated, so that they had to find a replacement. And I don't know what Eddie Hearn was thinking. You talked about the Essex boys, it's all about the bottom line, it's all about the money. I don't know what he was thinking putting the AJ in with Andy Ruiz as a replacement. You know, Jarrell Miller, even before the drugs, he was a big heavy lump, didn't have a big engine. You know, he was very immobile. He was there to be punched. I thought it was a match made in heaven for AJ. Whereas you pull in this Andy Ruiz, I know he looked like the Michelin man, but you pull him in, small fighter, you know, a trained boxer, fast hands, fast feet for a heavy fella. I just thought it was the worst replace. I know hindsight's 2020, but I thought Eddie Hearn had an absolute nightmare putting him in with Ruiz. But Jarrell Miller went away. He came back. He got on a Saudi card. He cheated again. He tried to rob a car dealership there most recently after he lost to Dubois. And now he's back on a Saudi card. I mean, if White has 9 lives, how many lives does Big Baby Miller have? You know what I mean, Paul? It's out of control. Like,
Derek Chisora's not a drug cheat, and but he's 40 odd, right? Sounds like Scooby Doo, and he's quiet lately, isn't it? But he'll be piping up any day, won't he?
Yeah, he should be. Like, he's actually put the work in for the Saudis. You know, whether he was getting paid for it or not. You know, he was a speaker or whatever for the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight. You know, you always see him running around. He's never said a bad word about the Saudi boxing project or the Saudis at all. And then you have a serial cheater in Miller who's put lads' lives at risk, who's been unapologetic about it. You know what I mean? Like he almost got into it with a fan, the fan that called him out. I don't know if you've ever seen that video, but he squared up to a fan that just called him a cheat, called him what he was. And somehow this fella keeps getting on Turkey cards. I know he's a great talker. Don't get me wrong. He's great in press conferences. Yeah, I will give him that. Like I see where people are coming from. He is great. He's funny on the mic, but he's a scumbag. Let's have it right. And he's a 2 or 3 time scumbag. So why, if Turkey cares so much about boxing, why is Turkey Al-Sheikh putting a scumbag back on cards and paying him mega wonga when there's 20 or 30 other heavyweights that you could put in and he stayed? I just don't get it, man. I don't agree with it. That makes me more angry, and I know the whole Garcia thing will play out, but that boils my blood way more than the whole Garcia thing, at least up to now. So yeah, big baby Miller out. Get him out of here.
What do you think to Turkey's views on women boxing? Because it looks to me like it's been shut down, doesn't it?
See,
Chantel Cameron left Matchroom.
I know. Like I think the whole Saudi thing, at least the Saudi boxing thing, like one of my mates used to live out there. He lives in Bahrain now. He's still out in the Middle East. He's a fella from Ireland. I went to college with him. But sure, I think it was up until recently, and again, I don't know exactly, but sure, they were talking about women not being able to drive, or I think that's only been changed recently out in Saudi. So,
and they drive? Weren't they allowed to drive?
I don't think so, man. Or there was only strict.
What about the women that walk around with like a blanket on there, a black blanket, and you could just see their eyes and that? What's all that about?
I'm not 100% sure, but that's another point to the bigger point I'm trying to make is I think women's rights over there are still very, very prehistoric. You know what I mean? To quote James Brown, it's a man's world, and it's especially a man's world in Saudi Arabia. So I don't know if Turkey planned on putting women's boxing out there on the map straight off the bat, or if ever. Like, if all the other restrictions around women are as they are, I would find it hard for them to just do a big U-turn and for them to put women's boxing on the map. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it was ever high on his agenda, or if it is high on his agenda even now. Um, but yeah, man, the women's game, it looks to be on a steady decline. Um, I know we have Taylor Serrano coming up, but I mean, outside of that, it's in a wild bad place. And I don't agree with the Taylor Serrano fight. Like, I think Chantel Cameron's got absolutely shafted. Um, after beating Katie Taylor.
There's that trilogy.
Exactly. Exactly. I think I think Chantel Cameron's been very hard done by. I think the ref in the second Taylor fight was shocking for her specifically. And I'm a Taylor fan. I'm not going to say I'm not. Like, she's done a wild lot for the women's sport. She's done a wild lot for Ireland in general. Like, even us watching the Olympics back in the day, I remember it. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't. People would drop whatever they were doing. It was a big moment in the country. But I think, I think Chantel Cameron's been shafted very, very badly. I don't agree with it. And I think that should be the fight now. I get why Taylor Serrano's happening. It's in Dallas. It's on a Jake Paul fight. There's a Jake Paul connection. It's big money for them both. So I get why they're all taking the fight. I just feel like Chantel Cameron's been left out in the cold. And Chantel Cameron was a proper fighter. Do you know what I mean? Good style, good to watch. I wouldn't be. I don't know. I feel like, and without sounding like a bigot, I think a lot of the women's fights you watch, and not a lot of them. I think the majority of them can be, whether it's the 2-minute rounds, it can be quite poor. But I think Chantel Cameron fights were always good. She wanted to bring it, and she wanted to bring the smoke. And now I think you're almost shelving one of the best female fighters on planet Earth, or definitely one of the best female fighters on planet Earth. So I think that's the sport taking a step backwards in itself. But again, all about the money and all about not doing right by the fighters that should be done right by. So, yeah, the promoters have to take a good hard look at themselves.
What about Natasha Jonas against Katie Taylor? Why can't that be the last dance?
Yeah, I'd love to see that as well. And that goes back to it. We've seen this over the last 5-10 years, mostly 5, where these promoters they say they're pushing the women's sport and they want the women's sport to grow and we want this and we want that and all the rest. But actions speak louder than words. And when you shelve a woman like Cameron into isolation, what you're telling me without telling me is that you don't really care about female boxing. You care about keeping your cash cows safe in Katie Taylor. And you talk about women's boxing legacy. Surely, if you care about legacy, you would be trying to put together, either Cameron Taylor or Jonas Taylor. Or sorry, yeah, Jonas or Jonas and Katie Taylor. That's not happening either. So yeah, mate, I don't know. I feel like women's boxing in general, but specifically, British and UK domestic female boxing. It's been a bad couple of weeks and a bad year for it. Very bad.
Bad couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, Savannah's fights short soon. It's not long. I think is it June or something. She's doing MMA. She's been trained by Andy Aspinall, who's
Yeah.
one of the world's best trainers. But
Yep.
I'd be surprised if Savannah fought as a boxer again. I would be.
No, I see him. I mean, even in her pomp, I know obviously the Shields fight happened, but I don't. It seemed like it was kind of hard finding like very viable matchups. And the thing about the MMA training is, obviously boxing is a very hard sport, but she would have been so used to training through her life where it would have, it's like a duck to water. It would have been second nature to her. There's so many new things she's going to be learning in MMA between the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and all the rest, where if you're going to be doing that, even under, an elite coach like Andy Aspinall, you have to be 100% all in. So if she is taking that seriously, which it looks like she is, then I would imagine the boxing takes a back seat. But fair play to her. Hey, that transition into MMA is no joke. So I have serious respect for her doing it, you know. I mean, Shields did it obviously, but Shields already has a loss on her record. I think she only had 3 or 4 fights. I think she's 2-1. And the 2 fights that she did win were nice matchups for her in the PFL. So it's a hard transition to make. So yeah, big respect to Savannah for doing it. Seems like a good character. I liked her and Fury working together, Peter Fury. I like both of them. And yeah, it'd be obviously, but that's another thing. That's another negative for female boxing, as people like Savannah moving away from the sport. It's not a good look, Paul, is it?
Well, no, because the fights are not really getting made, are they?
No.
And they're going round in circles. There's only a handful. Look, we know how many people there is in Savannah's weight class with men, and there's only a handful at women. So as soon as you turn pro, you're already world ranked, aren't you? You know, in top
Yeah.
15. Because there's the talent pool's not there, is it? So after Savannah fought Shields, who were they left to fight? Well, they're going to have
Mm,
6 fights with Shields. You know, like Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta. Is that what they're going to do? I'm not
mm,
sure, but where does Shields go now, though? Who can she fight? I mean, she's not fighting anybody, is she, at boxing?
no, no. And that's another telltale sign when like the greatest female fighter of all time, yeah, I say can't get a fight, but either she's going to be way too overmatched or, well, yeah, mostly. They're going to be fights where like they're just not competitive at all. And the only kind of viable candidate was Savannah Marshall. And I wouldn't have mind seeing that rematch. I thought there were kind of adjustments that Savannah could have made, but that looks to be off the table now. So if the best in the business can't move the needle or can't get fights, and you know, Katie Taylor has one full out the door, it doesn't look well, man. You know, I mean, look, Terry and the likes of guys like that would know way better about what's coming through on the amateur scene in terms of the female boxing scene in the UK. But yeah, mate, in bad shape, you know, and I think kind of you have to give Boxer a bit of credit as well for putting on that all women's card. I think kind of seeing where the sport has gone now, the decline probably would have been a lot quicker if that all female card didn't happen. And even though it did happen, you know, it seems like things are in a bad place as it is. So I wouldn't be overly confident, man. And things getting better before they get worse for the female game, definitely not.
Yeah, it's changed, hasn't it? Women boxing, it's changed, hasn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Okay, Joseph Parker. Where does he go now in? Because a lot of people have got him in top 5, haven't they? For heavyweights at the moment. Do you think it's just deserved, Adam?
Uh, yeah. Out of the bunch that's there, I think it's deserved. I think I mean, it's difficult because him and Fury, I've said previously, they'll never fight each other because of obviously the connection, training camp, etc. I think if they did fight, I wouldn't give Parker much of a chance against Fury. Ah, well, I would have thought that it all depends on how Fury looks against Usyk, but I think obviously Usyk is head and shoulders above everyone else on the technical basis, whether he loses to Fury or not. So I think he would have an easy night's work with Parker. I probably would still have AJ to beat him as well. But out of the current crop, I probably do have him fifth, especially based on these wins. The point I'm trying to make though, I find it hard to see how he gets above that fifth or fourth. You know what I mean? That ranking. Because I don't see him fighting Fury. I don't see him ever beating Usyk. I think Joshua now probably beats him as well.
Yeah.
So I think so. I think so. I think this is probably his limit, but he deserves to where he's at. Yeah, I know we're talking about boxing, not personalities, but he seems to be a top man in the way he handles himself. Um, so I don't dislike him. I don't really have a bad word to say about him. In terms of his style, I'm still not completely gone on it, but we'll see now. Um, I mean, if you're being wild cynical, you could argue he caught Wilder and Zhang at the best possible time for both men, or for him to catch them. So, you know, do I think Joe Parker would comfortably beat Dubois or Hergovich? I don't. I don't. I think both lads would give him a very stern
Parker.
test. Yeah, I think so. I think I don't, I mean, we'll know more after their fight as well. But gun to me head, if you put Parker against Dubois tomorrow, might have Dubois beating him, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Zhang had him in trouble big time twice. Just Zhang didn't have the gas tank to finish the job. You know? Like Dubois hits like a truck. I think Dubois would make contact with Parker. The only big difference is I think Dubois would have the gas tank to maybe finish the job and step on it. Um so we'll see. I don't know what the natural fight for Parker is next. It depends on this whole Riyadh season card in September. You know, are they going to put AJ in against the winner of Hrgovic and Dubois for the IBF belt after they scatter?
But they'll not risk AJ with them. They're going to wrap AJ in cotton wool until he gets some mega fights.
Yeah, maybe, maybe. Um, well, if AJ isn't going to fight, um, the winner of them two, I would like to see Parker fight the winner of Hrgovic, Dubois. I think that's a good fight.
What's your thoughts on the AJ comeback? Franklin, Elenius is sparring partner, Wallin is sparring partner, and a guy who'd had one fight as a boxer. Do you think that warrants all these goonies running around with cameras giving Eddie platform to say Joshua's stronger, faster, quicker than a speeding bullet and all that nonsense? Where do you think he's really at in his comeback, or do you think they've just wrapped him in cotton wool and they're just trying to get him over at finish line for put cash out? What do you think?
Uh no, I don't think it's I think there's a lot of hot air in there that I mean I couldn't have broke it down better the way that you kind of said about each opponent. So no, I don't think it's as real as people are making out. Like I do think, as I've said previously, I do think he looks more confident. I mean, like, look, he's beaten lads. So if you're beating lads, even if they are draws, it's going to give you a wee bit of pep in your step, whether that's deserved or not. So I do think he looks a bit more confident. Obviously, the Ngannou knockout. Um, you know, he was fighting an MMA fighter who looked like he got a bit too high on his own smoke in terms of how good he was as a boxer. But the actual knockout, it was a show reel knockout. But no, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think AJ's got any real closer to Usyk. Like, put it this way: if him and Usyk fought tomorrow, I think he'd get turned on his head the same way as he did.
I think he'll get stopped if he's fought Usyk again. Usyk could put his foot down a bit more than he did last time.
Yeah, and I mean the thing about all this confidence is great if you're going in there against lads who you're competitive with. But I think if he went in there against an Usyk again tomorrow, I think all those nightmares, it would only take them a round or two to come back of, you know, chasing this fella around for 24 rounds and not having any real success, barring, you know, what was it, round 5 or round 6 of the second fight. So yeah, confidence will only get you so far. But I think when you get a dose of reality, a hard dose of it against a guy like Usyk or even a Fury, maybe, I think that confidence would evaporate like hot air very, very quickly. So no, to ramble on, I don't think the AJ Renaissance is real. I think they're just trying to set him up for a mega fight, for a cash out fight as best as possible. Um, and yeah, I mean, what more do you expect out of Hearn? You know what I mean? Like, this was always going to be Hearn's MO. Get him easy fights, blow smoke up everyone's ass. But I still think if AJ goes in against Fury or Usyk, I still think he gets spanked in different ways. But I think both lads still spank him up.
Yeah, it's number 3, isn't he? Basically.
Yeah, yeah. But he's well off the other two. Like you have one, you have two, and then you have, you know, the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay, then we'll finish off on this. Tyson Fury versus Usyk. How have you got it? And are Fury's mind games winning? Mind games working on Usyk with all these. 1 minute he's putting pictures out of him looking really thin and looks like he's overdone it with camp. Next minute you're putting pictures out of him looking like big fucking fat Dan Rayfield. Where are we going in with this?
Uh I made the prediction that Usyk would win. I'm not gonna, and I said I wouldn't change my mind, so I'm not going to. My only worry is that Fury cheerleading exhibition where he did the press conference on his own and where Turkey rang in at the end, and Turkey saying best of luck. I think Turkey and the Saudi boxing project, they're after the biggest fights possible. Now, if you're being real, Tyson Fury versus AJ is the biggest fight outside of Undisputed that you can make, even if the AJ Renaissance isn't real. No, it would, if I was Usyk's camp and I saw Turkey Al Sheikh call in that press conference and say, best of luck, I love your family, I love all this, it would kind of fill me with a wee bit of worry in terms of, are we going to get a fair decision? Like, I think if you put a gun to my head and I had to pick one result, I would say an Usyk decision. Now, are they going to cook the cards for Fury as if it's close? Like I heard you say previously, you were talking about a draw. I'm definitely going to stick. I always stick a few quid on a sneaky draw if I think the fights are a bit weird. I backed the draw on Canelo, or sorry, I backed the draw on Wilder Fury 1 years ago, and I won a few quid off that. I think this could be another one of those where Usyk wins kind of 8-4 or 7-5, but they give it as a majority, a draw or whatever. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I say an Usyk win. I think the work rate's going to... It's hard to know too. You don't know what's real with Fury and what's not, but what you know is Usyk's never, ever, ever out of camp, and he's impervious to this mind games and stuff. If anything, I would say Usyk's probably asking, or he's hoping in his mind for the biggest, toughest Fury that's possible, because he doesn't want any excuses. Usyk wants the toughest test possible. All those fellas do. So I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to go with Usyk decision, even though I think they could try and cook the cards. But Usyk decision.
I'm going to go Usyk decision, but one thing you can guarantee about Fury leading up into fight week, they tell lies constantly.
Yeah.
You can be guaranteed them telling whoppers.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, completely, man. Hi, come here. Before we drop, I know we only have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Here at the weekend, I've Canelo stopping Munguia late rounds.
I got Munguia winning points.
Okay, all I wanted was to get your prediction.
I think he's there for taking Canelo. Me, I think so, and I think Munguia's I think he's in a better form, and I've got him to cause an upset on points. Whether he gets the decision or not, I don't know. But my 50 quid will be on Munguia on points.
Okay, I like it. I like Munguia. I like Freddie Roach. I think the timing is good.
Yeah.
I just I'll be amazed if Canelo ever gets a decision against him in Vegas. Yeah, I just think
if anybody gets the nod against Canelo.
Yeah, it'll be a modern day miracle. Even though Munguia is obviously Mexican, but I just think I know Canelo hasn't stopped anybody since Plant, and I know he made Wild hard work a Ryder. I think Munguia is obviously a better fighter than Ryder, and he proved that by kind of smashing him. I just think Munguia leaves more openings, more obvious openings than Ryder does. He doesn't play it half as safe, and I just think Canelo will get to him late. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to see Munguia win as well, but I think Canelo late. So let's see, and we'll chop it up after the fight.
Okie dokie. Thanks for coming on, Adam. You've been a real tonic. I hope you're well. Over there in sunny San Francisco, is weather nice?
Weather's not bad. Aye, I definitely didn't bring it from Ireland, but it's not bad.
All right. Well, listen,
But
yeah.
pleasure as always. Sure, I'll talk to you over the weekend, mate. All right.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks, Russ. Bye.
Right. Well, that were Adam from San Francisco. Nice kid. Dog lover. I like dog lovers. If you're a dog lover, I'm your pal. All right. That's about it, really. I'll have some what I should have had yesterday, Korean or something. Korean Asian noodles or something. Looks nice. I'm gonna warm that up. Okie dokie. Go on, peace out. Keep on trucking, keep sporting boxing. Don't have nightmares, especially you, Max. Go on, booyaka.